Hi everyone, welcome to another Coco Systems LinkedIn live series. And today with me we have a special guest, our VP of Digitalization, Raymond. Would you like to tell us a little bit more about yourself
Yeah,
and
sure.
what you do? Yeah.
Welcome everyone. Yeah, Raymond Swiss, VP of MRO Digitization, and really my job is all about ensuring that we create effective digitization throughout our software applications that really fulfill the benefits of all our customers.
That's amazing. This LinkedIn Live discussion, we will have more discussion around maintenance 4.0, around digitalization solution for aircraft maintenance. So before we start, guys, I just want to highlight this is an interactive discussion here. So you're more than welcome to comment below, or if you have any questions, just put your questions below and we will try our best to answer your questions. So before we start, Raymond, we're gonna have maybe some of the viewer out there want to know a little bit more about maintenance 4.0. So what is the difference between maintenance 4.0 and industry 4.0?
Well, good question, because actually there's not a lot of difference since Industry 4.0 is a broad concept that applies many different techniques. Whereas I think that with Maintenance 4.0, it's focusing about specific concepts which are really playing a crucial part in the maintenance industry. So, for example, the 4 really is about predictive maintenance, augmented reality, virtual reality, but as well robotics and drones as the last one, which is really becoming interesting at the moment, is the artificial intelligence.
Yep. And I think those are very interesting concepts. And then if you or anyone out there that already implementing this, please comment also below that if you're already implementing, what are some the highlight of using some of this concept?
Yeah, not only the highlights, but also the learnings and the struggles. So we'll be really interested to learn from your experience as well.
So yeah, you mentioned all of these 4 concepts before, and that is a part of maintenance 4.0. Would you like to briefly explain what is exactly maintenance 4.0, and then what is actually a different between maintenance 4.0 and then a normal or a traditional aircraft maintenance services?
Yeah, sure. I can elaborate. Maintenance 4.0 is really about creating smarter, more efficient, and more flexible maintenance processes where you really make optimal use of the technology. Because quite often in normal maintenance, you see when they adopt new applications, you adopt as well the old processes. So in essence, you're adopting chaos because in the past it was not working. And you're trying to digitize the way. Whereas with the maintenance 4.0 concept, it's about changing the technology, but also changing the processes and the way you work. So you become more efficient, more reliable, and you focus more on safety. And so effectively, you're trying to bring both worlds, IT and business side, closer together in order to receive the best result.
Yeah, and you mentioned before focus on safety, right? So this is it's not something that like would say focus on the technical side. So it's something that can bring a value to the organization and business. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit what is the value looks like.
I'm glad that you mentioned, because quite often people think when you use technologies to create efficiency, you're risking safety. However, with these new modern concepts, you in fact are improving safety because you're building in functionalities and tools which will become more and more reliable. And so the humans and the organization have more focus on safety. So in my vision, in my concept, even though we're trying to improve efficiency, the always number one priority is safety. Without a doubt, the focus is always safety. And in my vision, they can go together. It's not independent or doesn't have a harmful effect on the other.
All right. You mentioned before about the safety and the value to the business and organization out there. So when it comes to maintenance 4.0, like how it is actually contribute to the cost savings and perhaps efficiency within the aviation itself?
Yeah, I think that's a good question because just like in other industry, it transforms traditional maintenance process and really leveraging digital technologies and making use of them and becoming more reliable and reducing the amount of work. And especially nowadays, aviation industry where staff shortages are around every area and every customer or every organization struggles, these tools help you find efficiency, reducing the amount of work and the steps you need to do in order to complete your task. So that's really where this concept is focused on to reduce and to minimize the amount of effort you need to do in order to safely fulfill your task.
Yeah. But again, it is really good to highlight that this digitalization, this maintenance 4.0 comes to the industry to not change the people's job.
No, it's definitely not about changing the people's job or taking away the people's job. It's about helping you become more effective, providing you with the proper tools to perform your job and maybe focus on other areas. But it's definitely not about taking away jobs, but helping you be more effective.
So, Raymond, would you like to share a little bit more from your past experience? As we know that Raymond, on his previous career, been working within the airlines, and would you like to come up with some of an example, maybe that you can share a little bit how digital solution have improved work in maintenance process, for example, or even bring value to the organization and the business?
Yeah, sure, I can. And I think actually one example which I know and is not directly to maintenance, but already shows how the adoption of the process and the solutions goes perfectly hand in hand is with the automated check-in and boarding. For example, nowadays we check in with our mobile device.
Yeah.
So it's not about only adapting the technology, but also changing the process. For example, we don't go to a check-in desk anymore. So we make use of the whole chain of events which we can change in the process. So that's where you see both worlds come together. And then looking at from a maintenance perspective, I think one really interesting solution and known for a couple is the use of drones for aircraft inspections, for example. You can have the drone do the inspection, but with machine learning, the drone is also doing the inspection. Right. So effectively, the mechanic doesn't have to go to the aircraft anymore. Doesn't have to go to the maintenance manual. All those elements are covered by a solution. So that's why you need to change the process. And you can bring down, for example, your ground time or your inspection time by 4 hours.
Wow.
And that will only work if you are open to adapt your processes to the capabilities of a digital solution. So I think that is a perfect example, whereas for maintenance and health monitoring at the moment are being more and more adapted as well on the airline side, where you can reduce the implant downtime and really also changing the way everybody works and responds and uses the data.
Yeah, and it actually brings value to the people that work there.
Yeah, but even for passenger convenience, the aircrafts are available earlier. You prevent AOGs, you prevent delays, cancellation. So it has a whole chain of effect on the whole industry. And really, that's the importance of adopting the technologies and making use of them.
All right. So you mentioned some of the challenges that organization may face when it comes to implement the digital solution within the organization or the business. Maybe would you like to elaborate more? What are the key challenges here that the organization face when implementing digital solution, for example, in aircraft maintenance, and how can they overcome them?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I can surely elaborate. And I think what you really see that the industry quite often tries to adopt the software usages to the old ways of working. So really focusing on the old, let's say, paper way of working. Whereas if you're trying to digitize a paper or an old way of working, then effectively you're just digitizing chaos. So it's really about going hand to hand, improve efficiency, use lean in order to see where is the ways, how can we improve? Because you really need to focus fundamentally on your way of work and to take out the chaos. And then it's about becoming more smarter and aligning your process, which improves and leads to improved productivity and safety. So it's about having the vision to understand, why are we doing this? How can this software help, and take a moment to reflect on your current way of working, really, and take it step by step.
Yeah, step by step.
Yeah.
So let's say when there are some aircraft or some organizations, they would like to implement maintenance 4.0 and start to doing research more about it, but they have a small budget or with a limited resources to begin their journey of digitalization. So based on your experience as well, what do you think the first step that they should take to implement these maintenance 4.0 practices?
Yeah, and I think really, it's all about starting small. Even though it may sound like it's a whole big change, but it will gradually evolve. So it's all about starting small. Look to standardize your process. For example, find where you have a lot of repetitive tasks. In perfect example is for the planning functionalities, where you assign people to the work, you assign people to the staff or to the repairs. That's quite a repetitive process. So, for example, find solutions that can help automate the process, and slowly on you can more and more expand the functionality. But just there are a lot of possibilities where you could change and start small, and use automation in small ways already. So they are there, and so I'm also curious to see whether or not if people or organizations have already started to invest and experiment with automation or
So from your point of view, like within the industry itself, aviation industry, when it comes to planning, and for example, let's see like staff planning or within the HR, is it within the industry people are still using manual?
Oh yes, for sure. You see a lot of areas where people work manually or use Excel to do calculations. And even though that is digital, to my opinion, it's not really digital, because basically you're still doing a lot of manual tasks in order to achieve a result. Becoming digital is having the tools helping you out, doing certain work for you. So definitely within the industry, within maintenance, there is a lot of old way of working. And if you compare that to the other industries, we have quite a bit of catch up to do.
So Raymond, within your role, specific on digitalization, and during your work experience, you're dealing with a lot of projects, and you're really familiar with the industry trends itself within the digitalization in our aircraft industry. So would you like to provide us, or even the viewers out there, what are the future trends or innovation that would come, and specifically in the field of aircraft maintenance?
Yeah, sure. I think some I've already discussed briefly, but for sure one sounds a little bit fancy, but really is here and going to expand is augmented reality and virtual reality. Whereas you would see virtual reality is being used for training, for example. Or in the past, you had to do all the trainings around an aircraft, and you need to make an aircraft available, causing costly ground time. Whereas with virtual reality, you can do it at home. You can do it in training, and you can have so much more insights on complex procedures and training. So definitely that's one solution being used. But how about augmented reality when a mechanic is performing a task and you need remote assistance? Normally you would go to an office, pick up a phone and call an engineer. Whereas with augmented reality, you can have the assistant during your repair. You can have an on-site call. They can assist you via a remote screen, and those technologies are becoming more and more a factor in the maintenance organization. So that's for sure is one that I see is there already, but will really expand in the coming time. And another one discussed is the use of robotics and drones. More and more will take over certain elements not only for lighting inspections, but all kinds of inspections, visual inspections, and really about learning from the behavior and adapting the processes and assisting. And these will really speed up inspection processes and maybe the most important, will enhance safety.
Yeah.
So that's really an important factor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then another one maybe does not sound so fancy, but it's really going to help in the staffing part is the AI for automating planning processes.
Yeah.
Whereas you can have all algorithms based on the data you use, and they can predict the planning requirements, your staffing needs, and can make long-term planning more reliable, providing a more balanced roster for your organization, optimal use of the aircraft, and more accurate decision making.
Yeah, those are really like an interesting innovation that would come within the future.
Yeah.
But what do you think the industry facing these trends right now? How do you see they're like adapting it?
I think the industry is adapting them, but sometimes a little bit struggling in how to implement, and if it's too difficult, and to a certain degree, authorities need to work together as well. So they need to approve, they need to know how the systems work, and there are a lot of other smaller opportunities available as well. Yeah. So these are my visions and my perfect examples for now, but I'm really curious also to know from our viewers whether or not they have seen other techniques being adopted, or that they would say, hey, why haven't you talked about these technologies? Because we think they could bring added value to the industry as well.
Yeah. So if you have some kind of like ideas or any trends that you already implemented within your organization, or even you're curious more about it, you're more than welcome to just like comment below. We would like to know.
Yeah.
And obviously for the next Lincoln Live series, we also want to know what are other topics out there around digitalization that you want us to cover more.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree, and it's all about the industry as a whole, that we work together. We need to be working together. It's not about being competitors. It's about industry as a whole going on this new journey for technologies and digitization.
Yeah.
So we need to work together to share ideas, to come up with new solutions. And that will, to my opinion, really bring maintenance aviation to the 21st century.
Yes.
But we need to do it all together.
But again, it's good to see from another perspective when you see digitalization, because sometimes people just, digitalization itself could like scares people off. One, with the price that it could cost, and then maybe other aspect, people would scared that this digitalization will just change people's job. Yeah. But be able to see from the different perspective and then being able to adapt to the trends, it'll be one of the beneficial for the efficiency of the organization and the business.
Yeah, and I think also if you look at, for example, for the trends we're going to implement, makes it also more attractive for new people to come work in the maintenance sector. It makes your work more fun.
Yeah.
You have more technology, advanced tools that help you and make your work easier and better and more attractive. So it's also, in the longer run, hopefully that it will attract new, younger people to come work for maintenance organizations.
Definitely. Yeah. All right, everyone. That's all the discussion that we have for today. Thank you for being here, Raymond. And then thank you for all of you that already joined our conversation as well. So if you have more questions, or you just want to start network also with Raymond, more than welcome to check his LinkedIn profile there on our LinkedIn event page. And then also, if you have any suggestion for whatever that you are interested for us to discover more and to bring up the discussion more on our next Lincoln Live series, please let us know.
Yeah, thank you, Lizzie, for hosting. And indeed, as mentioned, if there are any particular topics that the viewers would think would require some more in-depth discussions or some more insights or maybe more interactive sessions, feel free to connect with us and let us know. And looking forward to the next.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye.